What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the UPA, otherwise known as the Uber Pokemon Association Draft Analysis. It is Season 3. It is my first season playing in this league, though. So I'm very excited to, play. I've wanted to play in another Ubers league. And while EBA was like a 1 Ubers, this one is more like stronger tiered Ubers, and you can get multiple. To do a little ground-based rules, randomized snake format like every other draft league. Each coach between 10 and 12 Pokemon, and you have 150 points in total, which seems like a ton, but the Ubers go up to 27 points. Coach does not need to spend their full budget, and Terra Captains can be decided during or after the draft. Terra Captains, it is a Terra Attacks format, so basically, say I want to, let's take a look, Arcanine Hisui. He's 13 points regularly. If I want to Terra him, he will be 16 points. So that is the way they do Terra. And with Ubers, like I said, they range from 27 to, I believe, 20 points. And then it's like the normal tier start. You can only max have up to 50 points on an Uber. So basically, if I get a 27 point, well, we'll say Basque Legion because it's the first, for example. Lash Specs is allowed, by the way. Then I can only get a 23 or lower other Uber. It's to prevent teams from having like 2 super broken Ubers, because you can get a really good one and then a not so good one, or you can get 2, kind of more in the middle. This is Paldea Dex, of course, it's Wi-Fi, so there is none of the Megas, no Yveltal Xerneas, no RC. Well, we're not doing Arceuses because they're a little stupid. But yeah, no Megas and no Yveltal. Xerneas. There are some bans. Miraidon, Koraidon are extremely broken. Those guys are banned, as well as Zacian Crowned. All Arceus forms are banned. Kali Shadow is banned. Kyogre is banned. And then Necrozma, Duskmane. Those are the only Ubers that are banned. This is basically just going to be me yapping about the team, what I think about it, that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and hop right into our first pick. We were 3rd out of, I think, 14, right? Let me take a look. Yep, 14 players. We were 3rd. So we had a really good chance of getting something pretty broken, and that's what we did. We got Calyrex Ice Rider. This guy is just kind of stupid. I will pull up his stats in case you guys don't know. He's got 100 base HP, a whopping 165 attack, 150 defense, and 130 special defense. 85 special attack, you're not using a special attack ever. And then 50 defense, 50 speed. He's a very slow but bulky and fast hitting Pokemon. But what makes this guy so great is that he gets access to Trick Room. So, he's so slow that it doesn't really, he can't outspeed anything anyway, so I can go Trick Room. He has, a really great ability, if you guys don't know Calyrex's or Glastriers. Chilling Neigh is basically Moxie. Every time I get a kill, I get an attack increase. And then also Unnerve is a pretty good ability in Draft League, much better than in other formats, as berries are quite a bit more common, especially if somebody wants to run something like a Yachi Berry to try and stop it. They can't. This guy can get out of control very quickly due to his very high bulk. He can pretty much always switch in and get a Trick Room off, and then, I can go for stuff like a Sword Stance. He also gets access to Agility if I don't run around Trick Room. He gets Substitute, he gets Leech Seed, he gets Encore, he gets Curse, like so many different cool things. He gets an incredibly strong move in Glacial Lance, which is 120 base power, 100 accuracy, no drawback. It hits both bows and doubles, but we're playing singles. And he gets high horsepower, so he's got the Mamoswine coverage. He also gets stuff like Close Combat, Crunch, Outrage even. Seed Bomb is really good to get through those pesky, bulky water types that otherwise would resist the ice. Since he's a Psychic type, he also, gets in Headbutt, which is also a great stab. But Calyrex Ice is just a really strong Pokemon to start off with, good to build around. And the two that were taken before me was Ho-Oh Eternatus, which I actually wanted to use both of those more. But it's all good because, a little spoiler, I am in the EBA Season 4 startup. Draft analysis for that should be going up. This will go up on Wednesday. I think that will go up on the following Sunday, so 4 days later. And we did get one of those two guys as a Uber. So, you know, that's cool. I at least got to use one of them. But Calyrex is just super strong Pokemon. Originally didn't want it that much, but how can you pass up on this guy, you know? So let's hop right into our second Pokemon. Next up, we've got Terra Raging Bolt, as you can see on the top left there. All of the Ubers left since it took a while to get back to me. I didn't really love all of them synergistically with Calyrex. I think there was like Giratina. There's Reshiram, which, like, you know, I just didn't love. Dialga Origin was there. I was hoping Zamazenta Crowned made it back, but it unfortunately didn't. So I felt like just going one of the strongest Terra Captains, and one I actually have not used yet, but I have built for people, Soul Blaze. You know, I told him to get this in BBR, and he did good with it, so extremely strong Pokemon, Raging Bolt, Electric Dragon type. This thing's got a monstrous stat spread, 125 HP, 137 attack, 91 defense, and 89. Spadef seem a little subpar, but due to its high HP, it's fine. And then 75 speed, despite it being super bulky, it's faster than most other really slow, bulky Pokemon, which is really cool. If you're unaware, it gets a signature move in Thunderclap, which is basically Sucker Punch, but special and electric. If they attack me, I will hit them first. And Raging Bolt is just super strong with Terra. Like, Electric Dragon is already a great typing, but it does, you know, struggle since he only really gets Electric, Normal, and Dragon. It does struggle against, you know, maybe some Steel Ground types. Hard walls it, even just like Ground or Steel types in general, it doesn't love. So you can Terra. There's really no Terra type in particular that is great for him. Like, some Pokemon love tearing into a certain type, like Regieleki loves tearing ice, so you get the Bolt Beam. Raging Bolt can literally Terra into electric or dragon to get dual stab. It likes running fairy, it likes running ground, it likes running water. You could even run something like steel. I think fairy, ground, water are probably the three most common other than its dual stabs, but like, you could go poison defensively. You could go ghost. Like, there's so much stuff you can do with this. He's got so many different sets. You've got booster energy, you've got Calm Mind, you've got choice specs. I've even seen choice scarf. So much you can do with this Pokemon. Super duper good. I'm super excited to use him. And yeah, I think he pairs nicely with Calyrex to get rid of the bulky waters that, while Calyrex does get stuff like Seed Bomb and Bullet Seed, it's really nice having a super strong electric type in the back that can come in, take a hit as well, and then dish out damage, force the switch out or either the water types, taking a shit ton of damage for Calyrex to come in later. Let's hop right into our third Pokemon now. We picked up Rillaboom. A very good trio right here. Rillaboom gives us the Grassy Surge, and as I said before, Calyrex uses high horsepower, not Earthquake, and Raging Bolt and Calyrex both absolutely loved the passive recovery from Rillaboom's Grassy Terrain. If you don't know what Grassy Terrain does, it heals, I think it's a 16th, it's like leftovers, heals both you and your opponent every turn. But considering Raging Bolt and Calyrex both don't have reliable recovery, it makes it very nice. Rillaboom's just a super strong Pokemon as well. 125 attack, and he's got good defenses, pretty good speed, but Grassy Glide is the main thing. 55 base power, but it gets priority on Grassy Terrain. So having, you know, despite my team being maybe a little slow here, we've got two very strong forms of priority already, and they're different, you know, not as common typings of priority. The three main priority typings I think of is like normal with like quick attack, that, you know, extreme speed. You've got like Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, I guess there's four, and then like Aqua Jet. I consider those four. So having Grass and Electric, which are not very common priority types, is very good. And Rillaboom's just a super solid mon. It can run a like plethora of different sets. It can be utility with like Leech Seed knockoff. It can be Choice Band with like Wood Hammer, boosted grassy terrain, does a like shit ton of damage. It's got Fake Out. It's got Drum Beating to lower speed. It's got Drain Punch for healing. High horsepower, so it doesn't have to use Earthquake in the grassy terrain. Super solid Pokemon. Pairs really well with my top 2. So let's hop into the 4th Pokemon now. We've got Slowking. Slowking helps me get closer to my Fire, Water, Grass core as Rillaboom, and it is a secondary Psychic type, but I have plans to pick up a bulkier Dark type in the back so we don't have to worry about those pesky Darks and Ghosts running over my team. And Slowking's just a really very good duo with Calyrex Ice. Cali Ice, despite him being bulky all around, he is a bit more bulky on the defense side. I originally wanted a Galarian Slowking, but it got taken, which, you know, is fair. I would have went at round 3 over Rillaboom and then went Boom, but Slowking is still very excellent. It gets a new move in Gen 9 called Chill Reception, which starts Snow and it switches me out, which pairs super well with the buff Snow got in Gen 9, where it will boost the defense of my Calyrex Ice. So that 100 HP, 150 defense is getting boosted by 50% in the Snow. Super duper strong. Also gets Trick Room. So like Slowking can come in, he can go for a Trick Room, and then... Alright, my apologies if you heard a little ding in the background. I had my desktop audio unmuted and I received an email. And I'm not re-recording this. It's a draft analysis, man. How many people actually watch these things? I just love to yap. But anyways, we can go for a Trick Room and then Chili out and go Calyrex. So then we'll already have the Trick Room up. We'll have, what, 3 turns? And then we'll have the Snow up as well. So it's going to be a very nice partner for Calyrex. And Slowking as well, Bartholomew, he's just a great guy. He's a good special wall, pretty good defensive typing, gets pretty much all the coverage you need. Gets set up if you want to run that. But he's mainly here to be a more supportive piece. Can even run screens. So our 5th Pokemon is Sneasler. Very common duo with Mr. Rillaboom is Mr. Sneasler. It gives us a fighting and poison type, which we don't have yet. It gives us a very nice speed, especially paired with its ability Unburden, which will double my speed to hit on item loss. So you can run stuff like the Grassy Seed, which use your item, you get Unburden, you get a defense raise, and since we have the Grassy Surge from Rillaboom, it pairs super nicely with Sneasler, and he hits extremely hard. The signature move of his Dire Claw is really stupid. 50% chance to either sleep, poison, or paralyze the target. But if you don't want to run that, you have Gunk Shot for just a higher power. Close combat, great, very high base power, dual stabs. He's got U-turn to get out of there. And the 2 main things Sneasler kind of doesn't like going against. Well, he gets Night Slash, it's not particularly, and Shadow Claw, not particularly great high base power moves unless you've got like a Sword Stance up. So he struggles a bit against Ghosts, but mainly he struggles against poison types, as he doesn't get any ground or psychic coverage and his dual stabs are resisted. But don't worry, I mean, I've got 2 psychic types on the team. If I really need to, I can Terra Raging Bolt into like ground to deal with them. So that's why Sneasler fits really well on this team. If you don't have a great way to get rid of bulkier poisons, he can be not very great, but we have probably the best poison type killer in Calyrex Ice Rider, so that's not a problem. But Sneasler really just comes in, goes for like a Sword Stance or something, outspeeds literally the whole metagame if you proc that Unburden, and he can just, you know, sweep, or he can hack your opponent with Dire Claw. He's a very scary Pokemon to prep for, as he can get out of hand in just 1 turn and just win. So we are halfway through the draft here. I've went pretty top heavy, I think, so far. Let me take a look, actually. Yeah, we went 27, 15, 15, 15, 16. So I really wanted some hazard removal. Iron Treads was taken. And I still have my bulky dark type plan. He's actually the 7th pick. But for the 6th pick, I wanted to get Mr. Excadrill. Just for, he's pretty much just here to remove hazards. I mean, I needed a ground and a steel type as well. But like, even if Drill comes more defensive a lot of the weeks, more utility, he still has base 135 attack, which hits super hard. But he's mainly here to, you know, maybe get Stealth Rocks, maybe Rapid Spin. If there is an angle where I can bring him to possibly sweep, I'm bringing him. Mold Breaker is also a great ability. And Excadrill does get high horsepower, so you don't have to worry about the Earthquake bad synergy with Rillaboom. He's Excadrill, man. Gen 5 GOAT right here. Been a great Pokemon since. Treads, maybe in the versatility department, is a bit better, but Drill hits harder, man. He is drilling your mom. But yeah, he's just here to click Rapid Spin for the most part. Really excited for my next pick though, as this is a very good doubles Pokemon, but I think he's actually a bit underrated in singles. It's Incineroar. I think this guy is pretty good. He's a bulky dark type, which my team needed. He's a strong knockoff user. He, you know, gets Parting Shot and U-Turn. Whether you need, he can run like Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Roar, some really good utility moves. Intimidate is also great. He can even set up if you want to get stuff like Sword Stance, Bulk Up, Trailblaze. And I mean, it's Incineroar. If you are a fan of the doubles VGC format, you know how good he is. Even singles players probably know. He's just a very solid Pokemon. Fire Dark is very good typing. And yeah, he's just a bulky dark to switch in for Cali and Slowking pretty much. He completes my Fire Water Grass core. And yeah, right now I have a Steel and Dragon. I still need the Fairy type of the core. And very surprisingly, a very high tier Fairy was available. I definitely wanted some sort of speed between Excadrill and Sneasler, as 120 to 88 is quite a big gap. So we went ahead and picked ourselves up Enamorous. I'm very surprised this Pokemon was still available. This guy, well, girl, this gal hits extremely hard. Moonblast coming off 135 special attack. You can even run contrary like Superpower, physical, because 115 attack is still very respectable, especially after you get the +1. Enamorous hits super hard. It loves choice items. You can run stuff. It's a fast taunt user, which is never bad. It gets Healing Wish, which is a very strong move in Gen 9. And it gets perfect coverage, theoretically, with Moonblast Earth Power. Gets Mystical Fire as well, Psychic, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, Soul Blade's favorite move, Grass Knot even. It gets all the coverage it needs. And it's just a very hard hitter. It gives us fast speed tier. We didn't have a flying type either, even though Enam is kind of a fake flying type since all the genies are. They don't really get flying moves. But Enam is still a very solid Pokemon. It gives me a very solid speed tier, despite my team being more slower, bulky, Trick Room orientated. It's still very nice to have the faster speed tiers in case I don't want to run Trick Room or can't one week. So after going Enamorous, we only had 13 points left, and there's two main things I want to get. I want to get a normal, and I want to get a ghost type. Normal, I preferably wanted one that gets some hazards, as our only hazard setter here was Excadrill for rocks, and then Sneasler does have T-Spikes, which is also very valid. So we went ahead and got Dunsparce. The Dunsparce was actually 12 points, while regular Dunsparce was just 4. Which I think is a little crazy. But while the Dunsparce can be more offensive than Dunsparce, Dunsparce still plays a very not bad role in clicking a top 5 move in the game, Glare. 100% accurate, can paralyze ground types. The only thing it can't paralyze is electric types, but it's super strong. And he gets Stealth Rock, really nice. Dunsparce into Dunsparce is actually one of the non-poison types that kept Toxic as well, which could be really quintessential in taking down maybe something like these bulkier dragons. Not Eternatus because he's part poison. Maybe like a Giratina or even like Lunala or Ho-Oh, like just getting a Toxic off and like setting Stealth Rocks up, if this guy can get 2 turns, I'm happy. He's pretty damn bulky with the Eviolite, since his base HP is so high at 100 that it's very hard to just cleanly one-tap him unless you've got a super strong fighting type. You can even run stuff like Calm Mind or Coil or Agility if you want. He's got Pivot and Baton Pass. He's got Roost to heal up, which synergizes super nice with the Eviolite. If you can get an Eviolite Pokemon, this goes for any format, whether it's Little Cup, whether it's I'm in an NFE Showdown League currently, whether it's Standard, whether it's UBERS, whatever. Eviolite users that have reliable recovery and Roost, Recover, Synthesis, any of that sort of thing, super duper strong. It makes them very annoying to take down unless you've got a very good knockoff Pokemon that can come and knock them off and not take a bunch of damage or lose a bunch of momentum. Super duper strong. So I thought Dunsparce for 4 was a little bit of a steal. Glad to get another Stealth Rocker so Drill might not have to run them every week. And like this guy can be a very reliable Ghost type switch in. While Incineroar might be, I mean, he's a great Pokemon, don't get me wrong. But if the Ghost type is possibly, you know, Ghost Water, Jellicent, we're looking a little rough, you know, so Dunsparce can fill that niche. So with only 9 points left and looking at the Ghost types, I was looking at my team and I was like, we're a little bit ground weak. We do have the grassy terrain, but another ground immunity or resist has never hurt a draft league team. So we went ahead and picked up Mismagius. Gives me another more elite speed tier over 100. Gives us Levitate, and I mean, it's a pretty strong Pokemon. It definitely has gotten power crept over the years, but it's really here, you know, to be more supportive. But if there is some kind of matchup where it's great, by all means, I'm clicking Shadow Ball. But it gets dual status and Thunder Wave, Will-O-Wisp. Gets Hex as well, I do believe. I don't see why it wouldn't. Yep, it does. Gets Trick, where you can trick, you know, maybe a bulkier Pokemon, a Choice Scarf or something. It gets Destiny Bond, it gets Memento, it gets set up in like Calm Mind Nasty Plot, it gets, you know, it gets Fast Taunt as well. Even Charm, underrated move. But it gets a lot of good supportive moves, like a lot of Ghost types do. And it's got a very good move pool. It's got Shadow Ball for Stab. It's got Dark Pulse, Dazzling Gleam, Draining Kiss, Energy Ball, even Future Sight, Grass Knot. You got Hex, like I mentioned. Mystical Fire, a super amazing move that I have on 2 of my Pokemon, which I really love. Thunderbolt, Psychic. I mean, it's got pretty much all of the coverage you need. Even Burning Jealousy is a really good move that can burn if they have a stat rise. So if like, you know, Pokemon wants to go for a Dragon Dance in front of me, I can get a little chip, and it's better than Willow because I can't miss. And I get a little damage off as well. Mismagius also gets Trick Room, which it is a fast Pokemon. So it's, you know, usually not going to be the Trick Room setter, but I could probably run it, you know, at some point. Run like Trick Room Memento, get out of there, get in Calyrex, get in a Raging Bolt, etc., etc. But Mismagius is a pretty good Ghost type ground immunity. So that's our team for this season. Really stoked to use this team. I'm a big fan of what we've drafted here. I've been getting some nice praise from people saying it's a very good team. So hopefully we can live up to those expectations. Our week 1 opponent is Endless, and we do have to fight the the Last Respects Basque Legion week 1. So I'll see you guys in a week, and we'll see if we can pull out the dub against a very scary Pokemon. Dunsparce may be coming for that fella.